Welcome to our nostalgic journey through the PlayStation 1's greatest hits. The PS1 wasn't just a console, it was a revolution that brought 3D gaming into our living rooms and introduced us to unforgettable adventures. Let's dive into the top 10 best-selling PS1 games that defined a generation. Final Fantasy IX was a love letter to the classic roots of the franchise. After two more futuristic entries, Square Enix returned to a medieval fantasy world filled with knights, magic, and kingdoms at war. With its charming art direction, touching story, and deep character development, especially fan favorites like Zidane, Vivi, and Garnet, Final Fantasy IX delivered a powerful and emotional experience. Even though it came near the end of the PS1's life cycle, it still managed to sell over 5.5 million copies, proving that the franchise was still one of the strongest forces in gaming. Gear Solid was a game that changed the gaming landscape. Developed by the legendary Hideo Kojima, this stealth action masterpiece introduced players to Solid Snake and a gripping cinematic story filled with espionage, betrayal, and political intrigue. Its voice acting, innovative gameplay, like using the second controller port to beat Psycho Mantis, and complex characters set new standards for what video games could be. The mix of stealth and storytelling helped it become one of the most iconic and best-selling games of its era. Crash Bandicoot 2, built on the massive success of the original, refining everything from controls to level design. The vibrant graphics, unique stage themes, and smooth platforming made it a fan favorite. It also introduced the Warp Room system, offering non-linear level access, and added new moves like sliding and belly flopping. Naughty Dog took a "don't fix what isn't broken" approach, and it paid off. Gamers loved the charm and challenge. It remains one of the highest-rated and best-selling entries in the franchise. In the Crash series, Warped introduced time-traveling levels that took Crash and Coco across ancient Egypt, medieval castles, and even into the future. With tighter controls, more creative level variety, and tons of vehicle-based gameplay, jet skis, motorcycles, planes, Warped elevated the platformer to new heights. It was a commercial and critical success, and fans consider it the pinnacle of the original Crash trilogy. Naughty Dog's polish and innovation made this a PS1 must-own. Resident Evil 2 expanded on the survival horror formula with a dual-character storyline featuring Leon S. Kennedy and Claire Redfield. Set in the zombie-infested Raccoon City, the game introduced a tense atmosphere, puzzle-solving, and limited resources that made every bullet count. What set it apart was the zapping system, where actions from one character's playthrough could affect the other's storyline. The improved graphics, voice acting, and terrifying enemy designs helped it become a defining horror experience and a top-selling title for Capcom. Tekken 3 brought the arcade experience home with smooth 3D graphics, lightning-fast combat, and a roster full of fan favorites like Jin, Hwoarang, and Eddie Gordo. The game introduced new mechanics like sidestepping and added fun extra modes, including Tekken Force and Tekken Ball. It was easy to pick up, but hard to master. The perfect recipe for a successful fighting game. Tekken 3 remains one of the most beloved and competitive titles on the PlayStation, and it's no surprise it cracked over 8 million sales. Final Fantasy VIII was a bold departure from the norm, featuring a more realistic setting, a gunblade-wielding protagonist in Squall Leonhardt, and a complex storyline involving love, memory, and time compression. The junction system allowed deep customization of characters through magic, while the card game Triple Triad became an obsession for many players. Though divisive due to its unique mechanics, the game's cinematic cutscenes and emotional depth helped it become one of the highest-selling entries in the series. Gran Turismo 2 took everything that made the original great and dialed up. More than 600 cars, over 20 tracks, and even more realistic physics and driving conditions. Players could now experience rally racing, test out iconic car brands from around the world, and tune their vehicles in incredible detail. It was more than just a racing game. It was a car enthusiast's dream come true. Gran Turismo 2's success cemented the franchise as Sony's premier racing simulator and a key selling point of the PlayStation. Final Fantasy VII was a watershed moment in gaming history. It was the first FF game to use 3D graphics and full-motion video cutscenes, and it brought RPGs into the mainstream. Players followed Cloud Strife and his crew on a journey to stop Sephiroth from destroying the world. The game's story, characters, and especially that moment with Aerith left a lasting emotional impact on players. Its legacy continues with the remake series, and its sales reflect its status as one of the most beloved games ever made. The original Gran Turismo was a technical marvel. With over 140 cars and real-world licensed tracks, it pushed the limits of what the PS1 do. It introduced players to simulation-style racing with realistic handling, car tuning, and license tests. The stunning visuals, for the time, sophisticated mechanics, and massive content helped it stand out in a market flooded with arcade racers. It became the PS1's best-selling title, launching one of Sony's most iconic franchises.